Hi everyone, Natasha here, and around my home today we are in the kitchen and we are moving on to day 4 of our New Year, New You FlyLady refresher course. So if you're just joining me for the first time, welcome to the channel. And if you're returning and following along, welcome back. So it's great to have you all here with me today. And today is Thursday, and I just finished doing my holiday cleanup mission. So if you need a little motivation for getting the holiday decorations down and put away, check out those videos on my channel. I'll try to link the whole playlist down below, but it's just another FlyLady system. It helps us get things done without getting overwhelmed, and I'm already feeling better at how much I've been able to accomplish in the last couple of days, and it hasn't felt hard, it hasn't worn me out, hasn't been this big project. It's just been 15-minute chunks of time to do a little bit each day, and I can see real progress and things are moving ahead in a really good direction. I'm actually feeling great that I cleaned out all of the tubs, because I think the last 2 years I left stuff in the bottom of the tubs when it was all said and done and everything was decorated, and then it was time to put the things away and I never cleaned out the tubs, and I just put everything back in on top of the tubs. So I feel a lot better this year that I actually went through, cleaned everything out, and I got a box of items to donate, so that's great too. And in the process, it's kind of jump-started me tackling a few other things that have been sitting around. So in the basement, I had a stockpile of boxes from all my Jordan Essentials orders. And, you know, I keep those on hand. This is always my reasoning. I keep some on hand for shipping orders out occasionally to other customers that are not close to me. But at the holidays, I was keeping them on hand to pack gifts. Well, it never fails. I keep too many and the pile just grows and it's way too many. So it was definitely time. So I went down there and broke down 7 or 8 boxes. I have a huge trash bag of packing peanuts. I'm pretty sure I can take to the UPS store. I think they'll take packing peanuts and like bubble wrap maybe. So I'm gonna call and double check, but I think I can donate it to them and get it out of my house without feeling bad about throwing it all away. And there are some paper wrapping things that I think I can just recycle. The cardboard boxes got recycled. So anyway, all that to say that things are moving ahead in a positive direction, which always feels good. So today we are here for the New Year, New You FlyLady refresher course. Diane in Denmark issues these videos every day. She did this a couple of years ago called Bahookie Camp, and yesterday I talked about that, and so she's just kind of revisiting it to sort of help give us a little kickstart at the beginning of the year and kind of push us into getting back on track, which has been great for me because I did, you know, what she always says not to do, and what I know not to do is over the holidays I let some routine slide and I didn't quite keep up with things. Now I will say I kept up pretty well. Like laundry didn't get behind. I just didn't clean quite as much. The bathrooms were ready to be kind of given a good thorough swish and swipe and all that, but even actually the Christmas stuff was a lot of it. So now that that's sort of getting under control again, I'm feeling better about that. But okay, so anyway, focus. Here we go. So she gave us today 3 tips to help this become a sustainable thing for you, so that you don't get all excited here at the beginning of the year and you start all these amazing routine lists and project lists and all this stuff, and then, you know, next week none of it's happening and you've fallen all off the bandwagon and all of that. So, and you know, just as a kind of a side story, for me the FlyLady system is beautiful in that way that it is all about starting fresh every day and not worrying about what you did or did not get done yesterday. We're not beating ourselves up because we didn't tackle some big project or because we missed a swish and swipe. It's all about just starting fresh, giving yourself some grace, and making the system work for you. So there's no right or wrong way to do the FlyLady system. There's no perfect way to do it. The result that we're always looking for is just to feel like we're getting a little bit better all the time, we're making things work, and we're keeping up with things. That's all we're looking for. It's just a way to relieve some stress and anxiety and make things easier on ourselves. So the first tip that Diane talked about to sort of make this system work and stick and not lose momentum is to write it down. So we've already been doing that. We wrote down our daily routines and our weekly routines and habits. We've got our list set up now, so when you have even a wish list item that you want to just say, someday I'd love to get this, you can jot it there. If you have errands, you can put those on your errand list. So having a place to write it all down is the first step. I have my Unbound planner, my new version of a bullet journal for this year, and I have been enjoying having that. It's nice to have a place that I know where things are and I can just put it in there. And you can do it wherever, in the back of your calendar, whatever works for you, but just having a place, writing it down so you're aware of it. And then the other part of that is checking it every day. So checking your daily routines and making sure you're getting things done, and checking those weekly task lists, checking your errand list, all that. So having the plan and reviewing the plan on a regular basis, that's the first step. The second step is to be consistent. So this is something where sometimes I do great and then sometimes I struggle. I haven't read it, but I believe there's a book that talks about the 4 tendencies or the 4 types, something like that. And I know one of them is a rebel tendency or rebel type. And I'm kind of thinking that might be me, because I love to make plans and rules for myself and guidelines for myself. But then almost initially there's another half of my brain that's like, well, I don't want to do that just because I'm supposed to do that. So I'm always at odds with myself. Maybe this is because I'm a Gemini, where one half of me wants to be super organized and have all the plans and do all the projects, and then the other half of me just doesn't want to. So being consistent and finding the balance, I think, is the key in being consistent and also giving yourself some grace. So just as a little side story, when my daughter was born, my daughter's 5, so when she was born and I was staying at home with her for 2 years, I stayed home, I easily found myself like getting all back into my FlyLady routines, but then also taking it too far. And I was, it was a point in my life where I wasn't sleeping much and I was lonely, and, days were really hard with her, and there were good moments too. But afterward, looking back now, I can see that I really did the overachieving, trying to get all of the things on the FlyLady list done and just not, having reasonable expectations about what I can accomplish on any given day with a 3-month-old, that kind of thing. So finding the balance, being consistent, giving yourself some grace. It all goes hand in hand, where you can feel like you're moving forward and keeping up with things, but you're not overwhelming yourself, you're not piling on, and that's something the FlyLady talks about all the time. And what's the other thing? Part of being consistent, and the FlyLady mentioned this too, is making it fun. And I have definitely discovered that using things like the timer, so sometimes it's just seeing if I can beat the timer, or when I really don't want to do something, if I can, trick my brain and say, well, just do it for 15 minutes, or sometimes just 5. Just do it for 5 minutes, and then you can stop. Then you don't have to do this awful thing anymore. And the awful thing could be like picking up the toys or whatever. But it's amazing, and every day I'm like reminded all over again about how helpful that is to use your timer for both ways. For the days when you can't get started, just to do a small increment of time and tell yourself it's okay, and after that you can stop again. And inevitably, once you start, then you have some momentum and you can keep going. And also for the flip side, and I have a tendency to do this sometimes too, is I get stuck into that project and I just want to keep going and keep going and keep going, and then I wear myself out and I don't get anything else done. So the timer is really helpful for that too. If I say, I need to work on cleaning up the kitchen, I can easily have that project take an hour, and I just find all these little things to work on and all these little areas to like piddle with. But in the end, if I could do that in 15 or 20 minutes, then I can move on and do something else. So using my timer goes well for both of those things. Another way to make it fun, and I've used this with my daughter and it has worked really well, one of them is we have a jar and we just cut up numbers. So I think I went up to number 12. So we're talking about our 1, 2, 3 things here. But so we have this little jar with numbers, and then we'll just jot down however many things we're trying to get done. I've used it mostly with cleaning up her room. And, you know, she's only 5, but I want to try to teach her some ways that she can hopefully get a little bit farther ahead in life than I am. So she has some tricks like this. So when she's feeling discouraged or feeling like she can't do it, I can say, let's try making this a game. So what we do is we write our list of things that's like pick up any trash, put away your shoes, pick up your book bag, you know, put away toys, or if it's specific toys, like pick up all the baby dolls and then pick up all the blankets. I'll just write out the list, and then we number those items, and then I let her pick out, you know, which one are we gonna do, and it's just fun to see. And so we'll have that, and then we can go do that, and I use the timer with her, and I'll say, let's set the timer for 3 minutes. I mean, it's not long at all, a minute, 3 minutes, something like that, 5 at the most. And she'll run in there, and it's amazing, one, how fast she'll get it done. I mean, she's running around, and she immediately goes, and she's just running like she ran a marathon. Cracks me up. But so she'll get it done really fast, and then she's not complaining, and she's not whining, and she's not saying, I can't do it. It's just amazing to me how making it a game and giving ourselves that little challenge works so well for her. It works for me. And the other thing that I've done, which has worked really well, is, you know, we got a box of popsicles last summer. We saved the sticks, and I washed them up and let them dry. And then we made little task sticks like this. So I'll do the same thing. Like, okay, let's pick 5 of these out, and we put them in a jar, and then she picks one out, and we'll say, okay, let's set the timer for 2 minutes and go pick up any clothes that are on the floor in your room. And both of those have worked really well, and they make it fun. And sometimes I do the same thing with the numbers. I'll make my list. For me, what happens is I feel like I have all of these things to do, and they're all important, and I have to do them all right now. And, you know, we can't get anything done that way. So I'll make my list. If there really is nothing that's urgent, and it really just is all stuff I want to get done in the next hour or half an hour, whatever, and I'll pull my number out and just start on that one thing. And it gets me over the hump of being overwhelmed, so overwhelmed that I can't start anything. So that gets me going, it gets me moving, and it's so satisfying to cross off that item and then pick out the next thing. And because I don't know what's coming next, I'm not spending time in my head, you know, oh, this is going to be hard. Oh, I can't do that in this much time. I need more time. Oh, I just don't want to do it. All those things we tell ourselves, there's not time for it because you don't know what's coming, and you've already committed to doing this little game. So, and actually that kind of reminds me too of, if you watch Sophia on My Great Challenge here on YouTube, she's been doing this wonderful challenge at the beginning of the year here, and she's calling it DOC, so Declutter, Organize, Clean. And she went around her house and on Post-it notes wrote down all these little areas that she wanted to declutter, organize, and clean. So some of them are just things like the junk drawer, or her little workspace in the kitchen, or the one storage area under the stairs. Put all those Post-it notes, folded them up individually, and put them all in a jar, and on camera with us, she's picking out an area and going in and working on it. And as a viewer, I have been loving watching it, because we don't know, she doesn't know where we're going next. And she said, you know, we all have areas where we're like, I just don't want to do that area. I'm dreading it. I hope I don't pull that one out. And sure enough, she's pulled 1 or 2 of those. But then also, you know, once she gets in there, it's the same thing we all find. Once you do it, then it's not so bad. And she feels encouraged, and it's fine. So check her out if you need a little motivation or encouragement. She's another one that does some FlyLady stuff and just is good for me to watch when I need some motivation for cleaning. And the last thing that Diane in Denmark mentioned in her 3 steps to be successful with this whole process is to find an accountability partner, or a group, or some way to hold yourself accountable. So, and I just kind of want to say, because this was me. I wished I had that. For a long time, I wished I had a friend or someone that I could say, let's do this together and let's hold each other accountable. I had different people in my life that kind of knew about the FlyLady, but we were just at different phases of life, so it wasn't like we were easily saying, yeah, we're both doing this today, you know. And it just kind of didn't work out. And I think that was my excuse for not doing quite a few things. One of them was exercising and taking better care of myself. And so finally last year I just decided there isn't one. I don't have a person in my life right now who can be that accountability partner for me, but that's okay. I can still hold myself accountable. I've used YouTube and you guys as part of that, building this community. And if I say I'm going to share something or do something, then I know I have to do it. And I've been posting on Instagram, just kind of the same way to hold myself accountable. But the other thing is, I just decided the only way it's going to happen is if I do it. And I think for each of us, we kind of have to work through that process until we get to that point where the only way that things are going to change is if I make the change. So for exercise, I, for a long time, have been watching Diane in Denmark, and she's talking about her winter bathing and her walking every day or running every day, and the 7-minute app. And I did try the 7-minute app for a while and just never, I did it maybe for almost a month off and on. I did it like 3 or 4 times a week, but it just wasn't easy and it wasn't fun. So finally I told myself, when my daughter started school this past fall, she switched to a school that is literally right around the corner from our house, so we can walk to school. And our town is tiny. It's only 1/2 mile wide each direction, but it's full of hills. So I just told myself, the only way I can get home from walking her to school is to walk a loop through my town. And once I decided to do that, I thought, it doesn't matter the weather. She and I can do that. It'll be good for her. It'll be good for me. And what I've discovered in the process is it's way better for me than I ever knew, because starting out my day with that fresh air and getting outside and getting active just helps me feel so much better. And I could really tell over the holidays when I didn't do it, because we weren't going to school, which isn't to say I couldn't have done it, but we were just busy going to parties and doing all these things that I didn't keep up with it. So I have that in the back of my mind that for next year, I think I need to just make it a point, even if it's just 1 or 2 days a week, to still get out for a walk, because it helps so much with my mental state and of course my physical health. It's good for me. But there was no one doing it with me. Every once in a while, somebody, another parent from school, we would walk together because we just timed it right. But I haven't ever had someone that said, I will walk with you every day. And as much as I would love that, now I kind of think it's okay, because I enjoy having that one-on-one time with myself. I can think, I can pray, I can be grateful and think about all the things in my life that I'm grateful for. There's all kinds of ways to enjoy that time by myself. So anyway, that's all my, I've been talking for 17 minutes, so that's enough. So those are your 3 little reminders, and your 3 tips is to make a plan, write it down so you have somewhere to check it off and review it on a daily basis, to be consistent and make it fun to help you be consistent, and to find some way to be accountable, even if it's just to yourself or just here on the internet to someone or some group. Just find some way that you can hold yourself accountable. So hopefully that's been helpful. And as I said before, the biggest thing with the FlyLady is there's no right or wrong way, just do something. And it's just like any other system. The only way it gets better is if you just do something. So thanks for joining me today. I hope that was encouraging and gave you some things to move forward with and keep this going. Next week we'll be in the zones. So we're actually going to work in each zone of the house one day next week. So we'll get our house really kind of cleaned up and in good shape, and you can see what the zone cleaning is like. So I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button down below, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.